Okay, so I think most people right here, there's probably going to be a few that drip in, but let's just basically get into it. This is me. I'm Philip. I'm from Denmark. I actually have a degree in art from a Danish art university that I've never used, like most art students. And then about 4 years ago, I started working for a media agency that worked primarily with online marketing and SEO and YouTube, where I worked as a YouTube and SEO consultant. And then a year ago, I went independent and I launched a software company called Rank Analytics, and I've basically been doing what I'm going to talk to you guys about for the last 8-ish years. What is SEO? If we just do a real quick, like, up with your hands if you know what SEO means. A bit over half, that's not bad. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It's basically if there's a search field anywhere on anything, on your phone, computer, Google, YouTube, whatever, there's some kind of code and algorithm that determines if you type something in, what's going to show up. Why would you optimize for search? Well, first off, one of the really good ways of thinking about it is that YouTube isn't a video platform, it's a search engine. It's the second largest search engine in the world after only Google. And if you had a website on Google, you would make sure that it's optimized, at least basically, for SEO, right? You would make sure that people could find it for the topics that your blog or website is relevant for. So why not do it on YouTube? It's great for awareness, it's great for brand building, it's great for top of mind. And one of the great things with SEO on YouTube is that you do it once, and then you basically let it be for like half a year or a year, and it'll continue to gain from that effort. So it's a long-term strategy. It's not something that you're going to see where you optimize the video and then the next day you're going to be the most viewed person on YouTube, but it is going to help you over time. For this, when we're going through the algorithm and how to optimize for search, because a lot of people aren't entirely sure on how the details work, the easiest way is to explain how you make a search engine, and then how YouTube has made their search engine, and then basically how you can fuck with that. So, let's start simple. If you had a blog, and there was a little search field, let's say you had a blog about bananas, you love bananas so much you have an entire blog about them, and you type in, let's say, great bananas in the search field, what would it do? Well, it would probably look for all your blog pages where the title of the page said great bananas. But what if you had 10 pages with that? Well, then it might say the page where it's in the beginning of the title and not at the end of the title, then we'll rank that one higher. Then it might say, well, there's still more pages with that, so how many times does great bananas appear in the text of the page? Then it might say, well, are there other things relevant to it? How good is it? Is there video? Is there audio? Are there images? How, like, general good quality of the page is it? And that's basically what Google does. Now, there you go. Now, YouTube is slightly different. And something is clearly a little wonky with the presentation there, but fine. Basically, the way you think about a search engine on YouTube is in two parts. One is relevancy factors, and one is native factors. And for those of you that are like frantically taking pictures of everything, for every VidCon that I've ever been to, the presentations get sent out to you guys in like 2 weeks. So you don't have to. Plus, I'm recording it myself, and I'll put it on YouTube, so don't freak out. Relevancy factors. That's YouTube trying to figure out what your video is about. It's the title, it's the description, it's the tags, it's playlist titles, it's playlist descriptions, it's playlist notes, and so on. It's your subtitles for the video and all that stuff. It's YouTube trying to figure out what is the topic of your video, what's it relevant for. Native factors is YouTube trying to say, now that we know what the video is about, how good is the video? What's the quality of the video? And YouTube does that by looking at watch time, viewer retention, user engagement, particularly shares, a little bit on length, a little bit on resolution, and a bunch of other stuff, but those are the main ones. Length is mostly in there, not because it correlates that much, but just because it's funny that it correlates even a little bit. If we're looking at relevancy factors, one of the first things we need to understand is the difference between broad match and exact match keywords. In here, how many people know what a keyword is? Hands? Woo! Okay, that's interesting because that's more people than knew what SEO was. A broad match keyword and an exact match keyword. If your exact match keyword is I love cats, then a broad match keyword would be I really love cats, I like cats, I love cat, and so on. Exact match means character behind character, that exact thing that you typed in. Broad match means kind of what you typed in. And that's important because YouTube is moving more and more towards broad match instead of exact match. So, what I'm showing you here is a data collection thing. I say thing because I don't really know what to call it. Basically, I had a piece of software developed 2 years ago that scraped a ton of data from YouTube. And so what I did was that for 550 different search terms, I took that and then analyzed the top 100 videos for each of those search terms. And then for each of those videos, I analyzed 50 different data points on those, and then I correlated each of those different data points with their ranking for that specific search term. And so all in all, that's around 3 million data points. It's not the most accurate in the world, but it's kind of accurate. The highest correlating factor that you see in ranking for a keyword is that you have the broad match of that keyword in your title of your video. And that makes sense. What's the thing that says most about the topic of your video? The title of the video. And so if what people are searching for is not in the title of the video, there's a good chance that why should YouTube then think your video is relevant for that topic. So that's very important. Exact match is obviously also important, and in some cases, maybe more important than broad match, but the reason it correlates a little bit lower is because there's a lot of really obscure keywords out there that people search for, and so you'll just end up with a ton of videos that never have that exact thing. That's probably also why YouTube is focusing more on broad match. Tags. Again, have your keywords, especially your broad match, in your tags. We'll get on, don't worry, about specifically how to optimize for these things a little bit later in the presentation. Right now I'm just showing you the data behind what we're going to talk about. You have 500 characters for tags and you should use them. The thing that a lot of people make the mistake with tags is that they use too big of a rarity, and that just confuses the algorithm. And they also use too few tags generally. See, now I don't think number of tags is a correlating factor or is a ranking factor for the algorithm. That would make no sense. But it is interesting to see that in general, the more tags you use on your video, on average, the better it will rank. So that's something to keep in mind, that probably if you're using very, very few tags on your videos, that's not going to help it out. Then you have your description. 5,000 characters to read in that, if you want to. Fill it out. On average, the average high-ranking video on YouTube has just under 1,000 characters in their description. So that itself, if you're only writing like 200 characters, that itself should point you towards like maybe you're not doing things correctly. Generally use keywords a lot more than you think you should. Native factors. These are the things that are YouTube trying to say how good is your video, right? Watch time. Watch time is both total watch time and view duration. The terms get mixed up a little bit, and that's why I specifically use view duration here. Watch time is the total amount of time your video has been watched in its existence, okay? Everything put together, that's your total watch time. Average view duration is how long, if the average person goes to your video and watches it, how many minutes do they on average of your video watch? That's view duration. Now what's really interesting about these two is that total watch time is one of the only official metrics that we have from YouTube that we know are important for ranking and generally within their algorithm. But the interesting thing is it actually sort of correlates right in the middle. There's a lot of other things that correlate much more. So that means that even though it's important, it's really not the end-all of what you should be looking at. And one problem I see often with YouTube is this, that they end up making like ridiculously long content. And by ridiculously long, I don't mean 10 minutes. Most of you are probably making too short content. I mean ridiculously long in like 1.5 hour videos because they're like, let's just get the watch time up there. That might be overkill. Viewer retention. That's the average percentage that the average person views of your video. So that's a 10-minute video, they view 7 minutes, 70% viewer duration. It appears to be increasingly important, but I don't have enough data to really back that up completely. What I do know is that from the previous year that I did this data study to the year after, watch time and viewer duration and viewer retention were closer together. The gap minimized. And what I think happened is that too many people started uploading these ridiculously long videos that were utterly uninteresting, but they were just long and people thought watch times, that's really important. And so basically people got really bored, started watching very little of those videos, and that's not good for YouTube because if you don't watch a lot of the video, they can't show you ads. And so what I think YouTube said was, okay, let's value viewer retention, which is a great quality sign. Let's value that a little bit higher. That's probably going to give people a better experience on YouTube. And that's why I think they're closest together. Views and dislikes. Both correlate positively. And overall, there's really not that big a difference in correlation between a video with likes and a video with dislikes. I know a lot of people worry a lot about getting a lot of dislikes on your video, and you really shouldn't. These are some of the most disliked videos on the internet. If you have Rebecca Black's Friday, right, when that originally came out, because it's been a couple of years now, when that came out, instantly pretty much became the most disliked video in YouTube's history. That's ridiculous. But if you typed in Friday, that would still be the most relevant result. YouTube would still correctly think that with everyone that's watching this video, if you type in Friday, you know what, you're probably looking for Rebecca Black's Friday, even though it had 2.5 million dislikes. So when you're looking at your content and you're uploading it, don't worry too much if people dislike it, at least not from an algorithmic perspective. But of course, if you're a brand and you upload a video and 80% of people dislike the video, maybe consider making different videos, because obviously it's not like the best brand image ever. Shares. What is interesting with shares is that it is the highest correlating factor that is not a relevancy factor. Much higher than watch time, actually. And that makes sense when you think about what a share is. If you go on YouTube and you watch a video, and it's 10 minutes, and at the end of those 10 minutes, you're sort of bonking your head on the keyboard going like, Jesus Christ, I just wasted 10 minutes. Share to Facebook is probably not what you're doing. Like, people don't share videos that they just genuinely wish they hadn't wasted time watching. They might share videos that they hate because it infuriates them. They're like, I want to share my hatred for this, that's okay. But they don't share videos that are just bad in the sense of uninteresting. So first off, it's a great quality sign of a video when someone shares it, because they go, hey, I like this video enough that I want other people to also watch this video. So of course YouTube is going to look at that and think, you know what, this is probably a half-decent video. Second part of that is that think about the purpose of YouTube, right? YouTube is a business. Businesses need to make money. What happens when you share a video? You send people from other websites, often competitors like Facebook, directly onto YouTube's platform where YouTube can show them ads and make money. So obviously, not only is it a good quality sign of your video, but it's also, there's an economic incentive for YouTube to promote videos that get shared a lot. Which might also explain some of the things that we're seeing with viral videos over the time, because viral videos tend to, the fact of going viral is people sharing them everywhere. Video optimization. Your title, as we talked about before, has to include the keyword. I say has to, I realize there's like a 4% chance or something like that for you to rank anyway, even if you don't include the broad match keyword, but why risk it? Why? The videos that do that, either A, they used a different broad match keyword than I checked for, or B, it could be that their description has the keyword a lot of times and the tags has the keyword a lot of the times. And C, they probably have really strong native factors. And that's why that video is ranking really highly without having the keyword in the title. So have your keyword in the title, preferably towards the front. The reason you want it towards the front is because if people are looking for something very specific and they see it in your title, there's a much higher chance that they'll click on it rather than if they saw a video where they're like, okay, I understand this is relevant, but since I don't see exactly what I typed for there, maybe it's not exactly what I was looking for. And since YouTube titles can get so long that you can't see the entire title, put it towards the front. Obviously make them click-friendly. I'm not saying clickbaity, because there's an increasing counter-movement towards clickbait on the internet where people are just tired of it, don't want to waste time on it anymore. And so I don't think that's a good long-term strategy for you. but think about writing it as a good article headline, right? The average top 10 video on YouTube uses 55 characters. That's not because 55 characters is some magic number where you use 55 characters, now you're gonna rank high. It's probably just because on average people on YouTube like the shorter titles. They just tend to work a little bit better. So it's not a rule, but it's something where you can consider, well, generally good videos do this, so it might be a best practice idea. Yeah, write it like a good article headline. Your YouTube description. It is up to 5,000 characters long. And in general, write the 5,000 characters, I would say at least 3,000 characters. How many times you should include your keyword obviously depends on how many characters you have. If I say include your keyword 20 times, that doesn't make sense. If you wrote 500 characters, that would basically just be your keyword repeated over and over again. But yeah, at least 3,000 characters. It's fine to include useful links, but maybe don't like go nuts with it. Sometimes I see videos and they literally have 20 different links in the description. Who the fuck is going to click on that? It's fine to have some useful links, like to your website, to your social media, for instance. Don't go nuts. And then have it to a relevant playlist, and have it to a relevant video. That will also help you write out a full description, by the way, because you can take the part of the description of your other video and put it in there and say, this is what this video is about. Your exact match keyword is slightly less important these days than it was before, but in general, I would say use your exact match keyword around 20 times. If you're writing a description that's 3,000 to 4,000 characters long, if you're writing it shorter, then 20 times exact match is probably a little bit spammy, okay? Because you can use the broad match even more. So if your keyword is fresh golden bananas, then write fresh golden bananas 20 times or more. And then use the word banana even more times. You could use the word golden more. You could write fresh bananas a couple of times, golden bananas a couple of times. Mix that together. One thing that I have noticed over the years is that YouTube is, it used to be really, really easy to rank videos on YouTube, like ridiculously easy. And basically the way you did it was just like spam your keyword everywhere, and the algorithm would just be like, well, that's a relevant video. And YouTube has gotten a bit more clever about it these days, but so far, from what I can see, it's not penalizing anyone from using too many keywords. It's just that you reach a point where it says it doesn't make your video any more relevant at this point. So, if you had asked me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I had said, use your keyword, your exact match keyword 50 times. I feel very moderate these days saying 20 times. The first 400 characters, you have to remember, on your video are always visible on your video. That's the part of the description that people will automatically see. So write those a little bit nicer. Don't have the first line just be a link. I see so many people because they think more people are going to click on it. Look, if they were going to click on your website, if they wanted that, people are going to open up the description and click on it. The first 140 characters, roughly, it changes a little bit after, depending on sort of YouTube's layout. Those are the characters that you see in the search results. And again, write those a little bit nicely. And the reason is that your keywords, if you type something into YouTube and those keywords are either in the title or in the description, they get bolded out. And you have no idea how stupid people are. We see something bolded out and we're like, holy shit, I gotta click on that. We're simple people. We're like real simple animals, okay? So just a simple thing like having something bolded out in the search results, that's going to give you a higher click ratio. So do that. And the reason I'm saying pay extra attention to these characters is because for the rest of your description, no one reads it. No one. You can go on the largest YouTube channels, and on some of the videos you can find examples of how few people read the descriptions because they've made a joke. And if you open up the description, all the way at the bottom, it'll say, if you're reading this, type this comment. And it might be a video with like 8 million views. And then you find the comment that someone posted with that exact thing because they read the description, and it's got like 18 likes. No one reads the descriptions. So, and the reason I'm saying this to you is because 3,000 to 4,000 characters per video, that's basically a blog post. And for a lot of people, if you're uploading 2-3 videos a day, that's going to be like 6 hours extra work for you. And they're like, I can't do that. So it's okay not to write them that nicely, because no one is reading them. But the algorithm is, the code is. Tags. You have 500 characters, seriously, use them. It's fine if you can't hit 500 exactly, then hit 499. Now, but get as close to it. There's no reason not to use all the tags that you can, except use them in a relevant manner. The biggest mistake that I continually see is that people spread out their tags, and basically it's because they think the algorithm is a really clever human, when in reality it's kind of a dumb robot. Okay? What a lot of people would do is that if we're doing this as an example, they would write VidCon Europe speaker, Europe, YouTube, video, marketing, SEO, and they're thinking these are all relevant keywords and tags to what is going on. And they're right, they are, for a human being. The algorithm is a dumb robot. It's a very complicated robot. It's some of the most advanced that we have around when it comes to very complicated algorithms. But compared to a human, it might be faster, but it's also really dumb. Like, it doesn't understand context really well. Obviously, it understands it better than it did 10 years ago. But it doesn't understand it like you and I do. So what you should be doing is write VidCon Europe speaker, VidCon Europe, VidCon, VidCon speaker, VidCon YouTube speaker, speaker, YouTube, YouTube speaker, und so weiter. Then it'll understand it. If you do the other way, like, look, you're not going to rank on YouTube, you're not going to rank on a video, you're not going to rank on marketing, you're not going to rank on SEO. Find a keyword, stick to your keyword, center all your optimization around that keyword. If you use all the other things, YouTube is going to think, oh, you're a little bit relevant for VidCon Europe speaker, you're a little bit relevant for Europe, a little bit relevant for YouTube, a little bit for video, a little bit for marketing, a little bit for SEO, and if you're really lucky, you might rank as number 80 on all of them. And that's useless. If you're not in the top 20, it's useless. No one goes that far down. If you want to hide a dead body, hide it on page 3 of Google. Keyword research. By far, the most overlooked aspect of this, and I understand why, because it's also the most complicated and time-consuming aspect of this. That's because there's no really good tools for it. There is actually one that I didn't get in the presentation, which is called something.fame. Anyone know it? It's something.fame. Morning Fame. There we go. Morning.fame. Came out about a couple of weeks or a month ago. Also looks super useful for keyword research on YouTube. Now, this is by far the most important thing, okay? Because if you optimize your video, and you optimize your video really, really well, and it's great, best optimization in the world, but if you optimize it for a keyword that is way too competitive for the native factors that you get on your video, it's not going to rank for it. And at the same time, if you optimize your video for something that no one is searching for, sure, it might rank number 1 for something that gets searched for once every half year. It doesn't matter. So you need to do keyword research. The best ones for this is Google Trends, keywordtool.io, and Google Keyword Planner. Google Trends is good because you can set it to YouTube search and country specific, and it will give you a trend over time how many people search for it. And if you type in just that, and it's just a flat line, that means there's literally no one searching for it. But the problem with Google Trends is that it doesn't give you a search number. It gives you a relative number. 0 is always the lowest, 100 is always the highest. And you don't know how much 50 is. But you can get around with that a little bit by comparing it to a different keyword that you know people search for. So if you think there's got to be a lot of searches for this, it bounces up and down all around. It looks like there's a lot of people searching for it, but I don't know. Compare it to cats, compare it to PewDiePie, compare it to soccer. Like things, keywords that you know people search for in a relatively large volume. And then you can get an idea. Keywordtool.io is also really practical. What you do is that you type in your keyword, and what it does is through the API, it pulls the results that YouTube would give you as suggestions. So it says, if we type in VidCon, it would say VidCon space, what is YouTube suggesting? VidCon space A, what is YouTube suggesting? VidCon space B, and just you mind him. That was the English. All the way through. Again, doesn't give you search numbers, but it gives you an idea of what people have searched for before, because otherwise YouTube wouldn't suggest that search term. And then Google Keyword Planner. The important thing here is Google Keyword Planner does give you numbers, relatively exact numbers, but for Google, okay? People search for very different things, fundamentally different things on Google and YouTube. The easiest example is that if you're going to buy a book, you would search for the review of the book on YouTube, but you would search for to buy the book on Google. So when you're checking for numbers in Keyword Planner to see if it's a worthwhile keyword, remember that people will probably be searching differently on YouTube rather than on Google. Generally, I would suggest to focus on topic domination. Rank 1 doesn't get all the views. We know this from studies done on Google, where they've done studies over the years. The Rank 1 website tends to get somewhere between 20 and 30% of the clicks for that search term. I expect it to be lower on YouTube because of thumbnails. Thumbnails stand out more, so if you have a really standout thumbnail as number 3, there's a bigger chance that someone will click on number 3 rather than number 1. Whereas on Google, people have like an extreme faith in that the algorithm gives you the best results, so almost everyone clicks on number 1. And I say almost everyone, but even there, it's still only 20 to 30%. What that means is that it's perfectly fine to have more than one video ranking for the same search term. If you have only one video and it's ranked number 1, you have maybe a 15 to 20% of the views, of the clicks that you can get from that. But what if you had all the top 10 videos, then suddenly it jumps up to maybe getting 90% of the clicks? The easiest way to demonstrate this is if you search for Let's Play, and the channel Let's Play just dominates everything. So obviously they get tons of clicks from that. Another thing with it is that channel theme adds up over time. It's basically the same as site authority on Google, if you know what that is. And it means that the more content you have about a specific topic, the more the algorithm thinks that you are an expert in that topic. And since you're an expert in that topic, it's probably a good idea that your stuff ranks higher than someone that's not an expert in that topic. And because of broad match, you should focus on more of a niche than a single term. I hope that makes sense. This is an example from a channel I've been working with, Rokas. He's actually sitting right over there, and he does videos about Aikido. And in the tool that I developed, Rankify Analytics, basically what I did was that I put in keywords, a ton of different keywords, and I put them into groups, and I compared what's the chance of someone clicking on his video compared to clicking on anything else, on any of the other videos. Now, in the group that I called Learning Aikido, we had all the sort of how-to search terms, the tutorial search terms. And he has tons of videos about that. And we see there's already a 45% chance that if someone searches within those search terms, 45% chance that they'll click on his video. Now, with Aikido Cloud, which is people that have done Aikido, famous people throughout time, he doesn't have a lot of videos on it. And because of that, there's only a 1% chance that people will click on it. So where should we put the effort? Now some people might mistakenly say, well, just do here, you're doing great. But the problem is, he's probably already dominating almost as much as he will. Like YouTube won't someone just 100% take over, right? Instead, you might say, well, here we see a really open opportunity, and if we just started producing a lot more content for these specific videos, for these specific keywords, over time, that would add up. I need to hurry. Content, super important. Don't have crappy content. You can SEO it the hardest you want if it's really bad. Like even, why would you even want to promote bad content? Like someone goes, watches a video and think, wow, that's a shit video. Like why would you want that associated with your brand? Like I don't understand. It's not a matter of budget and production quality. Yes, I'm still bitter. The Last Jedi, $200 million to produce, right? 48% audience score. This is like a tiny example of what you see on YouTube. Production quality is not equal how much people like it or how many views it gets. In fact, often too high production quality and it gets people turned off. It seems very corporate. Content needs to be valuable. Every year, every day, every single day, 16 years worth of new content is uploaded to YouTube. Why should they watch your video? What's good about yours? Why is yours better than the 16 years worth of content uploaded the same day? Why is it better than the hundreds of years of content uploaded the last month? The best way to ask yourself this is it funny? Is it insightful? Educational? Those are all things that can be valuable, and you need that. And that's basically what I just said. Optimize constantly. Worst case scenario, nothing happens. Best case scenario, you start ranking really well. And also, optimizing videos can sometimes have the offset effect of, even if you don't rank a lot higher, you'll show up a lot more in the recommended videos on the side. And through that watch time, you might even get on the front page sort of recommended there. So there's a lot of good reasons to it. But in general, if you're a very small channel, like very small, this is not the way to go about it. SEO is generally for a channel that doesn't have necessarily millions of subscribers, but if your videos are still only getting a couple of hundred views, you won't have the native factors behind you. The native factors won't be strong enough for your video so that it'll rank high, even if it's a really good video. So that's something to keep in mind, that if you're really small, SEO is probably not the best area to focus. You should start focus on getting traffic from other sources originally. What about your channel name? That's Let's Play. Let's Play, for those that don't know, it's like playing computer games, and people watch other people play computer games. And it's an entire genre of video on YouTube. But a couple of guys, ages ago, they were really clever, and they just made a channel called Let's Play. So now whenever you search for Let's Play on on YouTube, YouTube assumes, well, what's the most relevant thing? You're probably searching for the channel with 4 million subscribers. So we're going to show that channel, and then we're going to show all their videos. Brilliant. Same with the React channel from the Block Brothers. Now if you search reaction, YouTube again thinks, well, you know what, there's a channel called React. So if you're searching for reaction, that's probably the channel that you're looking for. Not just that type of video. But, so yeah, it matters, obviously it matters. But for most channels, it's just not practical, because their keywords will be too weird to sort of have in your channel name. Plus, it sort of ties you down very narrowly to a topic. So it works for these channels because that's all they do. But if you have a broader content area, then having these keywords in your channel name is probably not practically doable. But if you can, yeah, it helps. What about playlists? Playlists is basically the old favorites. I don't know if people remember that YouTube used to have favorites. And then suddenly favorites disappeared, and it just became a normal playlist. And at that time, you could track favorites in YouTube Analytics, and that just disappeared, and then suddenly it told you playlist ads instead. And of course, getting added to a playlist would count. Why wouldn't it? If you think about it, adding a video to a playlist is basically like bookmarking a website. Except that Google don't know when you've bookmarked our website, but YouTube knows when you've added a video to a playlist. You don't add a video to a playlist that you don't want to watch again. So it means you need to watch it again, or that you want to share it with others. And again, you don't want to do that if it's a bad video, so YouTube knows this is a good quality sign. So try to get people to add it to a playlist. I've seen people where they build up channels around playlist strategies, and it's paid off massively. Subtitles, do they matter? Probably. It would make sense if they did, if you put them in through YouTube system. Like, sometimes people make the mistake and they hard code their subtitles into the video. Such a waste of potential. Like, you've done the subtitles anyway. If you put them in through YouTube system, it pops up a text, and YouTube can read that. That means that YouTube can now natively, automatically understand the actual content of your video, not just the description of your video, but the content of your video. Does it matter a lot right now? I don't have any data on it. I wish I did. But I think it does a little bit, and I think over time it'll matter more. And even if it doesn't, it's still a good thing to do. Like, it helps with viewer retention, it makes people better understand the video, it opens it up to a larger audience, so why wouldn't you? But it takes time, of course, so yeah. Internal YouTube links, like one video linking to another, it would kind of make sense they matter, like from a Google link building sort of perspective. But we know how much Google has hoped to go away from link building because it creates like a lot of fundamental problems. So even though it might create a slightly better experience, I think it would open up a ton of problems for them, so they're probably not doing it. Playlist titles, descriptions, notes, and stuff like that. And also, let's see what the next one is. And can you rank a playlist? Of course you can rank a playlist. Like, you see playlists in the search results all the time. But there's a couple of things with that. First off, it's usually automatically generated playlists. It's usually playlists with around 200 videos in them. It's playlists that are targeted specifically to a keyword. And I think, without having any data on it, I think basically the way it works if you wanted to rank a playlist is that it looks at the playlist title, playlist description, and playlist notes, and then it looks at the native factors collectively of all the videos in that playlist and the relevancy of the videos in that playlist towards that going off in sort of a higher goal towards what you're ranking for. Is it worth it? I have no idea. Like, most people, if they search for something on YouTube, they want the video, they don't want a playlist, so if it's something you're going to spend a lot of time on, I'm not sure it's going to be worth it for you. Maybe. And then SEO of tomorrow. Sounds cool, doesn't it? Heavier focus on broad match and native factors. YouTube is saying more and more, I don't really care if the video is about exactly what you're searching for as long as it's a good video. That makes sense because YouTube's ultimate purpose is to keep you just on the platform, to keep you happy, to keep you there as long as fucking possible so they can show you an ad. I love you, YouTube, but that's what you're doing. Let's be honest about it here. And so, in the future, you should be looking at general relevance of your video towards the topic, and then high native factors, and that's how you would rank a video. Okay? So, relevancy, slightly less important. Title, tags, description, slightly less important. Watch time, retention, shares, engagement, overall, more important in the future. There's going to be, this is another one where we see the increased broad match, right? I searched for Roy Dean Aikido interview. That's because I was doing a bit of research for Focus of the Day. And what I found out, and I knew the video existed because I'd seen it before and I wanted to see it. And this is the video that I wanted, right? This is the only one with interview in it. And it's all the way down here. All of these is YouTube figured out by related words. That these are also interviews, and the algorithm generally considered that they had better native factors, so that it wants to show me that instead. Another thing is that YouTube, there's an increased focus on custom results. What I did here is I searched for YouTube SEO, and I did that from me logged in on YouTube on my own computer, and then I pulled the results directly through the API anonymously through Rankify Analytics. And then I compared the two. So one is a completely neutral API result, and the other is what YouTube is specifically showing me. Half of them is just for me. And the crazy thing is, a lot of the videos that YouTube is showing me, purely through the API, they were like number 15, number 30, number 50. Some of them I didn't even see. But because YouTube thinks I want to see them, it's going to show it up as more relevant to me. That's also just important in the future when you think about doing research on YouTube. Just remember that YouTube is specifically showing videos that they think you'll like, not necessarily videos that are correct for what you're searching for. This is an interesting one that YouTube has done recently, which is also in search, right? In the middle of all the search results, it now has a related videos. Like right in the middle, it just goes like, by the way, I know this isn't like directly related to what you were searching for, but it's kind of related, and we think you'd like the videos anyway. So how about that? And there's a little bit more. And that's just another example of how YouTube is saying the exact thing you're searching for, not so important. The most important thing for us is to keep you on the platform for as long as possible. And as long as you remember that and make your videos where they benefit that, then generally YouTube will like those videos. What about AI? That's also a big one. Is YouTube moving towards a completely AI-dominated platform? Obviously. Will we reach a point where people like me won't have a job optimizing videos? Obviously. Will we reach a point where an algorithm, a code, an AI analyzes every single frame of your video and the audio track and determines what your video is about, what the content is about, how good the video is, and what's it relevant for? Of course we will. Are we there right now? 5 minutes? I think it's the last slide. Yes. Okay, we can do it fast. Of course we will get there, eventually, obviously. But are we there now? No. YouTube can't even transcribe one language correctly. If you're Irish, YouTube doesn't understand you. If you're Scottish, YouTube doesn't understand you. And that's one language. And you're telling me that YouTube is doing this for every single language in the world and analyzing every single frame to understand the context of what's going on? Not a chance. But will we get there eventually? Of course we will. Okay, we have 5 minutes for Q&A. So any questions? Yep. You'll get a mic, don't worry.
Thanks a lot. What can you tell about how videos come in trending?
Trending has absolutely nothing to do with SEO, so that's not me you should be talking about.
But what do you think? Is it manual? Is it?
Oh, it's not manual. It's completely algorithm dominated.
Okay.
I would suggest you look into a person called Matt Gillen online, who has done more research specifically on those kind of things than I have.
Matt Gillen.
Matt Gillen.
Okay, great.
Yep. Oh, I don't think. Okay, we'll do that. I think you were first.
Hi. How big was the data set you used for your analysis?
All in all, 3 million different data points.
But how many videos?
Let's see, 55,000. Yeah, like you guys you decide who's talking now. Yeah.
Okay. What about tags in different languages? I can translate the title and the description and everything, but should I put tags in different languages if I want to reach another country and language?
Decide on the one keyword that you want. And if that keyword is in English, then everything is in English. For YouTube, if you type in different languages, from a search perspective, those are different keywords.
Okay, thank you.
Hi. I have a question about the currently launched community tab. Do you think it has any influence on the SEO or on ranking the videos?
No, not really. I think that's just YouTube trying to look a bit more at the community in general. It's difficult to run around like this.
Hello. How important...
Wait, where? I don't even know where you... There we go. Okay, over here.
Sorry, hello. How important do you think the consistency of a channel is in terms of the ranking factor?
I'm sorry?
The consistency of a channel in terms of uploads and the exact time they upload.
Oh, of a channel, like how... the interesting thing is we do see a direct correlation between channel size and how many videos it's uploaded with the average ranking of the videos. But I think that's not necessarily, I think it's a little bit of a ranking factor because we know Google in general likes bigger websites than small websites, so it makes sense that YouTube likes bigger channels than small channels. I don't think it's a direct ranking factor, I just think, or that much anyway, I think it's just that if you produced 500 videos, at that point you're better at making videos than if you've only made 5. When it comes to upload schedule, that will just help your general native factors because more of your subscribers will watch it. That will give you a higher watch time and higher retention, and that will make your videos rank better. If you're looking specifically at things like upload schedule, again, Matt Gillen has actually done stuff on Federator. 1 minute, so last question. Here, hey. I have to do you with the spiky hair because you've been standing there for ages from the beginning.
When it comes to the tags, we're running a documentary channel, and we do exactly the same thing like you do with the tags, specific and focus.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would you recommend mentioning the brand of a channel and, for example, the word documentary? And we have documentaries about the financial world or economy. Do you want to put economy as a word in the tags or not?
That really depends on, if all the tags and keywords are about economic documentary or something like that, then
for example,
Bitcoin. But I would say, no. If you can find a better keyword and it's not directly in that keyword, no. But with documentary, yes, I would include the tag documentary in every single video because YouTube will over time sort of understand, oh, this channel is just making documentaries.
Of course, yeah.
I think that's it because all the staff is looking really nervous there. But if you want to ask me questions after I pack my stuff, I'll just be outside and you can just ask me stuff there. Thank you very much. Hi.
is here, Matt?
Matt Gillen?
Yeah.
No, I think he's only speaking in LA this year.
Okay.
Mark Robertson is here. They work together.
Oh, okay.
Mark Robertson, because I talked to him earlier. I wrote Matt Gillen on LinkedIn a week ago because it was his birthday. And I said, like, are we meeting at VidCon? He's like, yeah, I'll be in Anaheim. I was like, that's the one I won't be at. So I don't think so. If he is here, that would be great. He's a very clever guy. I love talking to him. But I don't think he is.
Okay, but, and you said the thing will be automatically emailed to us?
Yeah, like for every other VidCon that I've been at, sorry, I can't guarantee it, but I would assume so. They yeah, sure. Actually, easier the other way around. Hold on, because I won't. Like, I'm sorry, I won't remember that. So.
Can I ask also after because I wanted this presentation as well.
Sure.
I'm not sure if I will do it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, but they pretty much always, after a couple of weeks, they send it out to like 3 emails with registered with. And they just sent like a massive zip file of all the presentations. They've done that every other.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
You said that
descriptions, yeah.
How I can measure this show more about the video?
You can't directly measure it. I just know it because I've done YouTube for like close to 10 years at this point. I've written so many descriptions and I've written so much stuff in descriptions. Like for instance, I used to work with Opal for their Danish YouTube channel. And they have a lot of stuff in this, like links and stuff like that to like where you can talk about the cars and stuff like that. And we know by tracking them in Google Analytics, like no one's clicking on it. Like, so few people even bother opening the description, and if they see like 4,000 characters, pretty much everything is posted again. Or they look specifically for links. Like if they wanted a link to your website, they'll go like www.
About the internal links video.
Yeah, I actually have a slide on that. Doesn't matter. I have zero, as far as I can tell, it doesn't matter at all. It would kind of make sense, like I understand why you're thinking it, I thought it, but it just, it's a can of worms for YouTube, so I see it like being a much bigger problem than a bonus for them, so I'm pretty sure they're not doing it. Yeah? The thing is that the more subscribers you have, the more initial views you're going to get, so it's going to get stronger and your traffic and it's going to rank better. We do see a direct correlation between channel size in both videos and subscribers with how high the video is ranking. But again, that also just makes sense in that if you have a really big channel with a lot of subscribers, it's probably because you're making good videos, right? So I think it might matter a little bit, but not like tons. Like if you just said, for instance, let's say you bought like 500,000 paid subscribers. Like they don't watch your videos, they're just like a number on the channel. That will actually hurt your videos because YouTube watches what percentage of your subscribers watch your videos. They have to be genuine. And if you have a massive subscriber pool, but they don't really watch your videos, so that's actually making it worse. Thank you very much. Sorry, yeah, he was first.
My name is Boris.
Philip.
I was saying about the description and usefulness.
Yeah, oh, by the way, I'm just gonna... I realized that's a stupid slide to stop on. There we go.
You haven't mentioned this session start and end. And when someone clicks on a link, that's basically the session.
Yeah, Matt Gillen talked about this. But that doesn't have anything to do with SEO.
That's my question.
Because also, no, it doesn't have anything to do directly with SEO. It has something to do with manufacturing in general, how good YouTube thinks your video is. But I don't think it's more about the session start and session ends. That's more with the YouTube homepage, the trending page, stuff like that, the subscriber page. yeah, it's more the algorithm that dominates those areas of YouTube rather than search. I think also usually in search, people have already clicked on a lot of videos before they start searching. It's not something I would worry about anyway. But I mean, you should always try to get people to click on your videos as quickly as possible, no matter what. So it's fine to aim for it, but it's not like if you're not getting it, never mind at all. Like then just close your channel. It's not like that.
So it will not affect my SEO.
Not really, I think. Like, sure, it might be better if you got it. Like, it might be a bonus, but I don't think it's like sort of a minus if you don't.
But I mean, it would be a minus if somebody will click on this useful links and
right. See that? Right. Okay. So that's the thing with
SEO perspective.
From an SEO perspective, no. But the thing is that on your video, over time, it might get worse because you're trying to send people outside of YouTube. That isn't telling YouTube rank the video less. But it might be that over time, they're saying every time you send people to this video, they leave.
Yeah.
So it's just, so in general, it's not about thinking, oh, so we're not going to rank it that high. It's just going to be, okay, so it gets like a little hit in the native factors, and then because the native factors are lower, it's not that YouTube forces your video down, it's just that other videos would become better than yours. And that's why. So yeah, like, I mean, sure, overall, think about it, but it's not that you don't want people to permanently leave YouTube on your video. That's always a good idea. Try and not do that. But I would say at the same time, don't make too big a deal of it, because unending amount of brand channels try to send YouTubers to the website and off to social media and all those things. And if YouTube every time, and not just brand channels, all YouTubers as well, and if YouTube every time says like, okay, you're done, out, like YouTube wouldn't have any YouTube channels. Like, even the really big YouTubers do it all the time. So don't worry too much about it. That's what I would say.
You're welcome. Sergey.
Hello, nice to meet you, Sergey.
I'm interested in trending. You say that metadata,
yeah?
It's talking about how does it write metadata, where I can appear first time last time.
Something like that. If you anyway, if you just search for that and then search like Matt Gillen, YouTube algorithm, like YouTube will Google will auto-correct me to saying, oh, it's this guy because like he's he's a really good algorithm.
Yes, if I missed.
Still,
Thank you for the lecture. It was very useful. I was wanting to ask you about Google, but but Google actually doesn't correct because I googled a lot. I relate to my
right. Okay, well that's also really incorrect.
Yeah, and unfortunately I missed like 2 minutes of your lecture. Could I have something? Maybe I can.